Battlefield Can't Mess This Up was the title of my video posted a few months ago. And the top comment on that video was, "I bet they do." This comment embodies the feeling within the Battlefield community, a betrayal and robbery of epic proportions that has been through the last two games. However, when I come back from my vacation that I've had for a week and a little bit, I opened up YouTube for the first time, and I was blessed with seeing a Jack Frags video on a gameplay video, which is great. And yeah, in this video, we're going to be looking at the recent gameplay, what it's revealed, compare it to previous Battlefield games, and in the end, I'm going to be expressing my ultimate opinion on the gameplay, what it looks like, and is this going to be another mess up? Well, we'll see, guys. Is this going to be another Battlefield 2042? More later. Let's get right into the video, guys. Cue the intro. What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we are going to be talking about the next upcoming release that I'm so excited for, and I really hope I don't get disappointed. Battlefield 6, baby. Let's see it. Let's talk about it. Let's get right into the gameplay. So, the first thing I saw when I was watching that video is I'm looking at the HUD, and I'm like, this looks very familiar. This looks a lot like Battlefield 2042, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the memories of disappointment with Battlefield 2042 is not a very good thing to have. But it's also, it looks quite a bit different, but it still kind of gives that Battlefield 2042 vibes, which isn't the greatest. But I mean, if you take out that Battlefield 2042 experience, it actually looks very, very good. I really like how they did the stuff in the bottom corner. Color's a little weird, but you can change that. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, and the revive stuff is a little bit, similar and stuff like that, but it really doesn't matter as long as, core elements of the game that we're going to get into are good. And because we're watching like the beta test kind of thing, is there's not that many guns, so you can't really see the game, like the gunplay, which is really what wasn't good about 2042. Every gun kind of felt the same, not very much deviation in it, which wasn't the best, wasn't very good. And just so far, it actually looks very, very good, very, very decent. Even switching through the guns, I saw there's variation in kind of every gun. Even in the assault class, there was variation, and we'll get into kind of how you can make more variation and kind of how you can change things up. But in 2042, the real only difference between the thing is the fire rate. That was basically the only difference. And sometimes some guns had, like snipers, had a little bit more recoil, but really it was the fire rate mainly, and that's no way to have a good game, right? Battlefield 1 hit it on the head. Lots of different variations of gunplay and came together very, very well. But the other thing, Battlefield 1 didn't have much gun customizability, so we'll get into that a little bit later. But next thing I want to get to is we are going to be talking about destruction. Now, Battlefield 2042 very, very heavily disappointed me, because even though there were some of those mass events like the rocket launching or the side of the thing falling over, there was barely any destruction, which is very, very sad. Battlefield games are known for their destruction on an epic scale, everything being blown up. Battlefield 5, even though it wasn't the best game, and many people on release date didn't really like it, it still had destruction, because that's a core Battlefield thing. But we're looking at this new gameplay. Oh my god, they did it. Tons of destruction, maybe even a little too much for like one rocket and the whole house blows up. Hey, I'm chilling with that. At least they got destruction, right? And then you have other cool things like dynamic lights, right? You can shoot individual lights, which is so amazing. It's so cool. So, ambience and stuff. Speaking of ambience, they're adding new sound things where they can make it more realistic, like bombs and stuff going off all over the place, stuff like that. Cool, really cool shit going on, right? Very, very cool, right? Making that experience. Let me just get into this real quick. Many people say that Battlefield 1 is the most immersive and, I guess, like, beautiful, I don't know the word, but beautiful, elusive, realistic, game, FPS shooter to ever be. And looking at these graphics, first of all, these, all the destruction, all of the different sound modes, it goes beyond having no HUD, right? This may be that, but I'm not going to say too much because, game hasn't come out yet. So we will see. And I haven't played it for myself, so we will see. But it may be. It may be. So let's get more into this video. So you have some other things add to that. So we got some more. I'm gonna be talking about a lot more new things. So let's get into some of those. Something that is very cool that I saw is you can kind of hang on the back of tanks. So a lot more like realistic, because on World War II and stuff like that and stuff, when they would transport people, right? I guess you probably saw this in some of the Call of Duty campaigns. You guys, everyone's sitting on the back of the tank, right, going to where they need to go. That's the thing. You can kind of hang on the back of a tank, which is very, very cool. Kind of be on the outside. Without having that weird glitchy standing on top thing that happens. I think that's very cool. That's a good addition. We have another thing is honestly this game. Let me just get something off my chest. Something about this game feels a very, very COD-like. It feels like a COD mixed with the Battlefield. But I'm not going to put Call of Duty on that because, Blizzard Studios, sexual assault allegations, horrible stuff going on in that studio, and they can't control it. But anyway, some of the parts feel very, Call of Duty-like. But we'll get into that a little bit more. Yes, you can drag your teammates. These two topics are not really, intertwined. I was just thinking that. You can drag your teammates. Very, very cool. Very, very great. I love that feature because it allows you to pop smoke or go into smoke and grab your teammate and drag them out when you may not have time to revive them. And also dragging them, you can drag them and heal them at the same time, right, with one of those pens. Very, very cool. Love that, right? Move them to a space where they're not going to die immediately. Because sometimes I'm just sitting in Battlefield 5 or Battlefield 1. I'm just sitting there with a sniper and I just kill the same guy 8 times because some dude keeps on reviving him. Stuff like that happens. And that'll, take some of that away. Even though I really like those 10 kill streaks where I'm just sitting there killing the same guy 20 times. But, it's better for the guy that's on the ground. You guys know what I'm saying. Another thing is the new maps look so good. This whole Battlefield Labs thing, it looks like that's really, really helping out with the maps or kind of make the maps more flowy, right? They're collecting data and stuff. Very, very cool. What I've seen so far with the maps is there's a very good mix of more open battles, more closed battles, some battles that are a bit of both. And when they're like more of those closed things, even though like it feels very closed, it gives kind of like a Call of Duty map where it's very, very enclosed. It's a lot bigger than that, and when you actually get into the gameplay, is what I've seen, is it actually opens up a lot. So it's not really Call of Duty where you're shooting a guy like 5 feet away every single time. It's a little bit, it opens up a little bit more realism, and you can destroy, the different elements with that demolition and stuff, which gives it a lot more open and makes it so pretty much, you can use all the weapons on a map, right? Or you can use different playstyles in the map, you can combine those together, and it actually works very, very well together, and it has kind of an ebb and flow is what I've seen. And the other thing is, what also helps is the maps are just insanely beautiful. Going into the next topic, we have something that's very, very good. Reintroducing classes. Class system, everyone hated the stupid retarded operating system, or not retarded, disability prone operating system. Not very good. Horrible for, just playing the game. worst decision EA has ever made in their entire existence as a video game company. Probably the worst decision in gaming history as far as a franchise goes. Even though I really don't have a problem with Dark Souls 2, besides Dark Souls 2. Anyway, horrible thing reintroducing classes, loving that. Something that, rubs me the wrong way a little bit is, they're making it so instead of, like, having closed weapons, they're being able to make it, like, switch through. That's a lot better than 2042. I think that if you want to have a Battlefield game, a core part of that is having closed weapons. Battlefield 2042, where you can do better with some stuff. That's cool. And sometimes in Battlefield 1, it would be great if I could use an MP18 as a medic, but it doesn't really. Having it like that, having it how it was in Battlefield 1 really adds another step to the game. You have to get good at other weapons instead of just using the one weapon in every single class. I really prefer closed weapons, but some people prefer open weapons. I'm glad they're giving me that decision, but I wish it was all closed weapons. Because I'm a selfish person. As I said before, reintroducing demolition. Let's get back to some of this gunplay stuff. Do you remember the days of sniping with the Gavur in Battlefield 1? Do you recall the days of sniping with the Kar 98 in Battlefield 5? Do you recall the days of sniping with a Mosin Nagant, which is my favorite Battlefield 1 sniper, or a Martini Henry, the favorite of the Battlefield snipers? I bring to you a game where sniping actually feels good again. Make America great again was Trump. Make sniping great again was Battlefield 6. Now, not to get your hopes up, I haven't played the game yet. But if this gameplay looks what it says, or looks how it looks, or isn't mischieving, and the actual, the videos that are out there are actually good, then this might be one of the greatest comebacks in the history of Battlefield. Coming back from the worst Battlefield game, or EA game, in history. Worst game ever produced by DICE. Worst game maybe produced in FPS history. To something that rivals Battlefield 1. What a crazy statement. Now, I'm saying this as a Battlefield fan that has been wronged 2 games in a row and desperately hopes for a good game. Will we get it? I have no clue. All this writing is based off of, 2 hours, 3 hours of footage that I've watched. Some more stuff. Oh, huge thing. The customization looks so good, but it looks like Call of Duty. Now, I love the Call of Duty customization system. I hate the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the new Modern Warfare 3 customization system. It's the worst thing to ever happen into a Call of Duty game. Why the hell do I have to unlock other weapons to unlock a attachment on my own gun? More on that later. Actually, not on that later, because I hate Call of Duty. Anyway, because they assault women. Anyway, because people in their company assault women. Anyway, allegedly. Anyway, anyway, so it looks very, very, Call of Duty like, and there's like this system where, you can only use a certain amount of points, and each attachment uses a certain amount of points. That's actually very, very cool. I really, really like that. And I like how it kind of brings in that Battlefield 2042 thing in, where you can change it during the match. I think that's very, very cool. And it's a little bit easier to look at than a Battlefield 5 thing. Another thing that I really like is you can do it when you do it out of match. You can actually test out in a gun range. Kind of like a Ready or Not gun range or a Rainbow Six Siege gun range. Very, very cool. I really, really like that. Very, very good feature. It wasn't something that I feel like was asked for. It doesn't feel like something that was needed, but it's a very, very good quality of life improvement, because sometimes in Battlefield 5 you would be going through a weapon tree, and you'd come to the final weapon tree and you'd have to test out in a match, and in that match it was fucking dog shit. So you wanted to redo it. And then 2042, even though this wasn't really as much as a problem, but because you could just change all your shit around, I feel like Battlefield 2042 weapon customization was very, very good. But I feel like this next one, that's the one that is about, I think it's coming. The next one that's coming is actually better, because in Battlefield 2042 you could kind of make any gun into a sniper, any gun into however. You could kind of just, with the gunplay being shit, you could kind of just make the gun into another gun. So that would happen. But this actually adds, another level to the gameplay, makes it so, at that thing, where I was going back earlier about gunplay, right? And, using your MP18 as a medic or stuff like this, I feel like it adds another level. You're going to be able to customize stuff, but it's limited. So you're not bringing out a god gun and stuff like that, or you're not bringing out, like, just a crazy fucking build. Really like that. Wasn't needed, wasn't asked for. Very good quality of life improvement, just as a whole. And then with the range, that's very, very good. It's great to test out your weapons before you go into a match. Let's continue. We went over pretty much all the stuff. So, I'm just gonna say what I've said before. This game is probably going to be extremely underwhelming. I've tried to hype it up as much as possible, but it's going to be extremely underwhelming, as most Battlefield games are. It's probably going to be a very, very mid Battlefield game. However, I think there is a chance for this one not to be complete dog booty, not to be complete dookie booty, be an actual good game, right? And a good game on release, even though it may be sped up a lot, and the production may be sped up a lot, and early access coming soon, because GTA 6 is literally a game killer, even though I don't really fuck with GTA. Yeah. This has a chance to rival Battlefield 1, my favorite Battlefield game of all time. So, we'll see. We gotta see how the soundtrack sounds, because one of the reasons Battlefield 1 is my favorite game, the soundtrack, Battlefield 1, oh my god, the best game of all time. I hate riding that deep, but oh my god, so good. Game that came out so long ago, such a good game. I love it. I still play it religiously to this day. I play it like at least 10 times a month for at least like 5 hours a month or something like that. Oh my god. Love it. Love it. Unless I'm in like a Minecraft or Elden Ring phase, because those games are amazing too. Or any Dark Souls phase. Anyway. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment on this video. I have to go watch gameplay that's not copyrighted for an hour. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, share this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed. I actually tried to script this out, even though it was kind of all over the place. I really tried to script it out. I wrote all this down, 4 pages worth. Very, very good stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Good day to you. Good night to me. See you guys all later. So glad to be back from vacation. Keep on making video. School starts in 7 days. Get ready. Finish all your summer reading. Finish all your math homework. Finish everything. Do all your shit. Even though 90% of my audience is 34 years old. Thanks for watching. See all of you guys later, and bye.